The KS-23. At first glance, it looks like a heavy, oversized pump-action shotgun. But this Soviet-era weapon hides a fascinating history, and one of the largest calibers ever fielded in a firearm of its type. With roots in anti-aircraft cannons, the KS-23 was designed not for the battlefield, but for riot control and law enforcement. Yet its unusual design, massive bore, and sheer power have made it one of the most unique firearms ever built. Today we're diving deep into the story of the KS-23, its origins, design, variants, and technical specifications. The KS-23 was developed in 1971 by the Soviet Ministry of Internal Affairs. At the time, the Soviet Union was looking for a weapon specifically designed for riot control, prison uprisings, and street protests. They needed something that could fire both lethal and less lethal ammunition with equal reliability. Traditional shotguns could do the job, but Soviet engineers wanted something tougher, more versatile, and with a much bigger impact. That's how the KS-23 was born. The most distinctive feature of the KS-23 is its caliber. Unlike standard 12-gauge shotguns which fire shells of about 18.5 mm in diameter, the KS-23 uses a staggering 23 mm bore, making it effectively a 6th-gauge shotgun. But here's the fascinating part. The barrels weren't originally made for shotguns. They were actually repurposed from rejected 2A7 anti-aircraft cannon barrels. When these barrels didn't meet military quality standards, they were cut down and adapted into the KS-23. This recycling of heavy artillery parts gave the shotgun its massive bore size and unusual strength. Unlike most shotguns which have smooth bore barrels, the KS-23 has a rifled barrel. This is because it inherited the rifling from the original anti-aircraft cannon tubes. This detail created some classification confusion. In some countries, the KS-23 could technically be considered a carbine instead of a shotgun, due to the rifling. However, its pump-action design and shell-based ammunition firmly rooted it in the shotgun family. After several years of development and extensive testing, full-scale production of the KS-23 began in 1981. 2 years later, in 1983, it was officially adopted by Soviet police forces and internal security units. Production ran until 1998, and during that time, the weapon became a staple in the arsenals of riot police, prison guards, and special forces. The KS-23 operates on a pump-action system, similar in many ways to Western shotguns like the Winchester 1200 and 1300. It uses a rotating bolt and twin action bars for durability and reliability. Its tubular magazine holds 3 rounds, not much compared to modern tactical shotguns, but enough for its specialized role. The real strength of the KS-23 lies in its ammunition. It can fire lethal projectiles such as lead buckshot or steel slugs, but it was also designed to use less lethal rounds. These included rubber or plastic projectiles for crowd control, and even specialized shells for launching tear gas grenades or flashbangs using a cup-type launcher and blank cartridges. This versatility made the KS-23 a true multi-role weapon, capable of scaling force depending on the situation. Over time, several variants of the KS-23 were developed. KS-23M 1990. This version featured a shorter 13.8-inch barrel, a pistol grip, and a folding metal stock with polymer furniture. It was more compact and easier to handle in close quarters. TZ-13 Cellison 4 1995, a rare civilian hunting variant designed for large game. It sometimes used newly manufactured smooth-bore barrels and even experimented with a larger 4-gauge caliber, about 26.7 mm. It also came with a tactical rail, making it a true oddity in the shotgun world. KS-23K 1998. This was the most radical redesign. Built in a bullpup configuration, it had a detachable magazine with 7 rounds and allowed for much faster reloading. However, by this time, newer semi-automatic shotguns like the Saiga 12 were becoming more popular, and the KS-23K saw limited adoption. The KS-23 is one of the most unique firearms of the Cold War era. Born from repurposed artillery barrels, it combined raw firepower with versatility, bridging the gap between lethal force and riot control. Though no longer in frontline service, it remains a fascinating example of Soviet ingenuity, transforming rejected artillery barrels into one of the most powerful shotguns ever built. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the KS-23, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Military Power TV, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next breakdown of military technology and history.